a dentist, they do hot chocolate. And I don't think they should do that because they're inspecting your teeth and you're drinking something very sugary. And then they say to you, your teeth are very bad.
That's a good point.
It's not your fault, it's just the hot chocolate's fault. Because
ironically, my two most anxious and negative experiences of doctors or appointments are actually to do with my autism diagnosis. So in the places they should be sort of their speciality to take care of people like me, it was very difficult. And I came out into the waiting room and both of my parents went in, leaving me in the waiting room with myself and, at the time, nobody else. And they gave me no indication of how long it would be. Neither my parents didn't know and the doctor didn't tell me.
When I was about 11 years old, my GP actually really upset me because he was talking to me about how he thinks I don't have autism and saying that, oh, you know, you're just an anxious child, you don't have autism, you don't show any of the symptoms. But I think GPs just need to remember that things like autism aren't really their speciality and that they just need to take people's diagnosis seriously because they don't know what it's like to be you in day-to-day life.
I find it's almost quite confrontational when you're there with the doctor or something because they sit square on and they're looking at you to kind of almost say, what's wrong, why are you here? And it's quite an unwelcoming feel. You're already anxious because of the appointment. It's really, really scary, and it would almost be better if a doctor could kind of sit side on to you so I can kind of see if they're understanding what I mean, but it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable.
When I had appendicitis, I had to go to the hospital for weeks. And when they said, we're going to put you to sleep, so just let your mind go off, I was quite scared because as soon as I got to sleep, they had complete control over me, and I was just a bit paranoid about that.
When I go to the dentist, I often get nervous because of all the tools and everything. Because my mouth's sensitive, and I sometimes struggle to cope in dentists a lot. I really tend to struggle in dentists a lot. Because when I'm in a dentist, I feel like I can't move my legs and the arms, and that generally annoys me sometimes, actually a lot of times.
Looking at the instruments scares me a bit. It sounds quite funny, but the instruments themselves actually scare me because go again. And it's just so weird. It sounds really, really weird.
And I think it's important that whoever's leading the appointment is prepared, maybe an email or a phone call beforehand to the parent or carer, just to say, is there anything that we need to be aware of? Is there anything that we can do to help that young person feel more safe and secure in the appointment? Maybe what their calming techniques are, and then for that to be kept on file, so then whenever there is an appointment across the NHS, it can kind of be just transferred.
You know, trying to battle with these healthcare professionals about what it was I needed from them, which was almost an ironic thing. You know, I needed them, but I couldn't access them because they couldn't meet me in the middle with what I needed. I needed home visits or being in a familiar, comfortable place at the very least, or just something to take the edge off.
I used to absolutely dread my dentist appointments because they had really, really loud music playing in the waiting room. And it was just so loud that I just couldn't cope waiting in there. And in the end, we actually had to tell them to turn it off whenever I came, which I know was a bit inconvenient for them, but it was really helpful of them to do that. And, you know, it's just little things like that that can make all the difference.
If somebody has sensory issues, maybe get a room, like a room in a hospital where they have sensory things, like a sort of a ball or sponge thing, and grab, like, or whilst the person's holding your hand and you're having the needle, have like a sort of a squidgy thing to like squeeze.
Knowing that I'm going to see the same person and that they know me, and that although I know everything's just on a file, that I do actually feel comfortable with them.
I think they should have lots of kindness in them. I think that they should be more kind and help you.
To get inside the mind of a person on the spectrum, someone with major sensory processing issues, you really need to just try to put yourself in their shoes. Nothing groundbreaking or nothing necessarily that means that you've got to completely change the way that you do things, but I think that at least meeting in the middle is such a good place to start.